And welcome back to the show. It's potluck time. This is the part of the program where we go around the table and share our favorite stories of the day. Hirschfield, you're up first.
Okay, Ray McDonald, defensive end, Chicago Bears, he got released. He got released because apparently we don't care about law when it comes to sports anymore. We care about offering up guys who've done something wrong regardless of letting the law unfold and do its job. This is crazy. I want to be clear. He has a problem with hitting women. He did it again. And the Bears are inside the law on this because apparently his contract included that kind of clause.
Give the background of what happened and why he was released.
Okay, he hit someone in California. He hit a woman. He's accused of it, and that's why he's been arrested. Mm-hmm. He's been charged. He hasn't been tried. He hasn't been convicted. But the Chicago Bears did release him, and releasing him seems to be legal, though people don't understand this. In many cases, it's not. You can't fire people because they've been accused of doing something, unless he has a contract that said if you get in trouble with the law around domestic abuse, whether it's proven or not, we're cutting you loose. So they cut him loose. The worst of this, though, is not that silliness. We now have sports writers that believe the Chicago Bears should be punished for ever hiring him. They would like to see the team fined, lose draft choices, fire the general manager, keep the owners out of their owner's box for at least half the season. Mm-hmm. Why? Because apparently the idea that you can go before the law, either take your punishment or get beyond it, doesn't matter. We should just not hire these people no matter what. I want to be clear. Domestic violence is a very serious issue. It's underreported in this country, and it's often underpunished. But that has nothing to do with turning competitive sports into a venue for playing out policy that we don't like or a reality that we don't approve of. That's just deeply, deeply wrong.
We need to have some disclosure here. You're a Bears fan. I'm a Bears fan.
The Bears.
I need to know if the Bears specifically said when they cut him that it was because of this incident, or did they just say, well, you know, we don't have enough money under the cap, or we just, in other words, did they specifically say we're cutting him because of this?
They
or
did.
They
did. They said, we believe in second chances. But when we signed Ray, we were very clear what our expectations were if he was to remain a Chicago Bear. He was not able to meet the standard, and the decision was made to release him.
Can I say something about this, though? I mean, I actually agree with the second part of what you raised, but the first part I'm having some trouble with. You would be very hard-pressed to find any contract with any individual in any area that constitutes entertainment, public performance. And that's what football players are.
Morality
where
clause.
There is not a morality clause. So there's nothing shocking that he would be fired for this. The second part, let me just say, I agree with you completely, because we can't be in the business of telling people who employ people that they're responsible for their behavior. I read that article by that writer. It was stupid.
Right.
It was just stupid.
I agree with all of you, except for the fact that he had been let go of another team, and that because he had been accused of hitting a woman, in the culture that they're in, I can understand how some fans could be frustrated with that, but I'm frustrated with the system and its failure to protect these women, and I think that that's where the problem lies.
That's the larger issue. This feels like a proxy war to take it out on him,
100%.
what the system can't do, let alone the fans
Well,
who are support of violent sport.
They're exercising an important right in a contract. I've had contracts with performers, and I've always had that morals clause in there, because you can really do a lot of damage to your brand or your business if you keep people like that around when they violate it. And it's never or rarely is it predicated on a conviction, because it's too late.
But you wouldn't do it to the team.
So
you wouldn't punish the team.
No.
Then we agree.
We'll need to move on. My only question for you is how did you get in here if there's a morality clause?
And you know, now that you've given it away, this will be the last time you see me, probably.
No. Anyway, you're up, Unger.
I'm up. Okay, so we know it's election season because suddenly we're hearing a great deal about the flat tax once again. So I thought we ought to take a minute or two and talk about the flat tax. What could be good about it? What could be bad about it? And what lurking problem exists that we can't solve it? The good news, it certainly does sound more fair than what we have now. Everybody pays their own proportional share. Everybody's taxed at the same rate. Sounds pretty good, right? maybe not as good as you think. Now, understand that I have been trained in the flat tax by the godfather of the flat tax, my friend Stephen Forbes, and he makes a very compelling argument. But here's where you start to get into some problems. First of all, the math tends to indicate that the average American middle-class person would end up paying about $450 a year more than what they pay now. It may not strike you as a terrible amount to have a fair system where we don't have 75,000 pages in the IRS tax code. Millionaires, on the other hand, would save up to $500,000 under a flat tax, so that's problematic. You also have problems at the lower end of the spectrum. And again, to be fair, Steve Forbes does acknowledge that. Here's the real problem. We get rid of the 75,000 pages. Awesome. Anybody going to tell me how we can guarantee that the special interests don't come along and begin altering the flat tax and we end up with 75,000 more? Nobody has yet told me how to avoid that.
Compelling argument. Do you still talk to Mr. Forbes?
All the time.
Really? Okay. Is he running for president? Because everybody
No,
else is.
he's not running for president.
All right. Fair question. Anyway, that's all the time we have for our potluck tonight. But when we come back, it's time for Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap.